we got just a small matter of a cup semi-final to talk about now, and we're going to start off with a predicted lineup. So we're gonna get the overlay up in a second, and go through what we think is going to be the starting lineup at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow night. What's people saying here? Barrett says Kuznov is on different levels.
Different levels.
But big up to all of you guys. We've got 785 people in here with us. Only 45 likes, though. To scroll down, smash that like button, and let's get into the predicted lineup. It is Tottenham against Liverpool. It is the first leg of the semi-final. Can we take something to Anfield in a month's time? The injury news has been released from Ange Postecoglou via the press conference. And what have we got?
Yeah, so still hefty amount of injuries, unfortunately. We got long-term absentees in Romero, Odebear, Vicario, Van de Ven, Udogie, Ben Davis potentially back next week. He didn't say that, but that's what we've heard. So still many injuries to contend with. Bentancur is back from his ban, but we have Sarah Madison with a ban, so 1 in and 2 out when it comes to that. Fraser Forster returns from illness. He has been training. Decky apparently was feeling under the weather, and he's fine. Dragishin has recovered well from his illness, and Archie Gray is a lot better as well. But still, as you can see, there are 10 first-team players. Well, actually, Fraser Forster's back, so 9 first-team players unavailable for this one. Richarlison's back in training, but he said that he wants to give him another 4 weeks training before bringing back to the fold, just because of what's happened before, and they want to be super careful with him. Mikey Moore could set to be on the bench as well tomorrow, so that's an exciting prospect as well.
Yeah, so
did mention Yamin Hyuk, though. I don't know whether he's going to be involved.
Yeah, I just feel like they're just going to give him a lot of time to settle. I don't think, maybe you'll see him against Tamworth, but I don't think we're going to see him against any kind of Premier League opposition for a while. But let's get into it. Let's start off with the goalkeeper. Big question marks about the goalkeeper this week. You've got Brandon Austin, the back of a man and match performance. You've got Fraser Forster back, and you've also got the new goalkeeper in Kinsky. And in my opinion, I think they're just going to throw Kinsky straight into the deep end.
Judging by what Ange just said in his press conference, he was asked this a couple of times by the journalist, who would you prefer? How are you going to go into your decision making when it comes to Austin, who played so well on the weekend, or Kinsky? And he said, first of all, he said that Kinsky was one that they rushed in January because of the goalkeeper situation. He said that was one that was earmarked for the summer, but because of the injuries and maybe illness to Forster as well, they kind of accelerated this deal for January. And he said as well that he's going to base this decision on how Antonin has settled in, given he's had 2 training sessions, and the fact that he also said that we've got European games that Kinsky can't play in, so these other keepers like Austin and Forster are going to get opportunities anyway. So judging by those answers, I get the feeling that Kinsky is going to get thrown straight in, and he is going to get his first start. And I think, for me, I don't mind it. I think if he's the best option and you think he's our best option of getting a result, then even if it's his first game, let's see what he does. Let's throw him in there. And I know that Austin did really well, but it is only 1 game. And look, to be fair, a part of me wants to reward him for that really good performance by playing him. But I also think it's a semi-final. If you think Kinsky's the better keeper and you think he's our best chance of getting a result, put him in.
Yeah, but you've also said as well that from what you've seen from Kinsky, he spills the ball a lot. And to spill the ball and to give away goals in such a high-profile game in a semi-final where it's literally, it's not do or die because we got to go to Anfield, but it's pretty much do or die, because if we don't take anything to Anfield, we're going out. So, I don't know.
I feel like in this game that his bravery, we might need that. His ability on the ball, his ability to come out in certain situations. I feel like in this kind of game, if we're going to get goals and we're going to be really brave, I think we're going to need that kind of fearlessness that he might bring.
Yeah, I do get that. But I mean, as well, I think Brandon Austin pretty much had a flawless display last time out. So in my opinion, I would put him in, but I do think Ange is going to go for Kinsky. So we're going to go for Kinsky in goal. Right back is going to be Pedro Porro, obviously, on the back of a best display in a while for him in the last game. I think, against Newcastle. I think Pedro Porro comes in. It is the second game in the space of a week for him, so hopefully he can kind of stand up to the test, because in the last month or so he's just been out on his legs, hasn't he?
Yeah, yes, and I remember he struggled in the last Liverpool game as well. I think the whole back line did. So I think he's been a lot better over the past couple of games. Maybe that rest has done him good. Unfortunately, with the doggy being injured now and Spence having to fill in at left back, I can't see him getting another rest until we bring another fullback. So unless we make use of Reguilon. But I think Porro definitely, we're going to need him in this game. And I think as well, on the ball, he's been a lot more creative past few games, creating more chances. And if we got a chance of, really hurting Liverpool, I think he's going to have a big part to play in that.
Moving on to the centre-back positions, I think we all know who's going to play centre-back, and that is going to be Radu Dragusin and Archie Gray. Both of them suffering with illness. I think Dragusin looked like to be suffering a lot more than Archie, because he was really poor in the first half, had to go off at half time, but Archie Gray I think did really well under all the circumstances, so I think it's going to be them too.
I agree. The only other option would be to put Reguilon in and maybe play Spence centre back like he did in the second half against Newcastle, and fair play to Spence, he did quite well, but I think Radu, I think his performance was particularly poor on the weekend just because of that illness. I think you can really see physically he was struggling. I think if he's fully fit, you probably put him back in and hope that he can get a much better performance out of him, especially aerially and along the ground. Obviously, on the ball, still got big question marks on him. Archie Gray's done it and come in and done such a great job. Obviously, the major worry is how both of them were fully fit for the game at the Tottenham Stadium a few weeks ago against Liverpool, and both completely got destroyed. Now, what I would say is, Szoboszlai I thought was a big part of that, and he's probably set to miss this game. I thought Szoboszlai really aerially was competing with those two players and winning headers in crucial situations. And if he's not going to play, I don't know if they're going to have a similar threat aerially. So hopefully that can lead to them having a bit of a better game. But it's still Liverpool. They've still got other different threats, and it's still going to be very, very difficult. So look, that's what we got at the moment. I just think we got to go with it, and let's hope that Kinsky, if his passing ability is, as we've seen, maybe he can just bypass those two players and go a bit more direct to the forward line. Yeah,
absolutely. Kinsky assist on his debut, that's what I'm saying. So that's a back three so far of Porro, Dragusin and Gray. Left back, it most likely will be Jed Spence at left back. There is a case to play Reguilon. However, I thought Jed Spence was poor when he was at left back. Jacob Murphy, I thought, gave him a really tough time. But then when we did play Liverpool a couple of weeks back, I know we conceded 6 goals, but I thought he actually did quite well up against Salah.
I agree. And I know Salah ended up, 2 goals and 2 assists or something stupid, but I don't think it was any of them were really down to him beating Spence to the ball or getting past him. It was more to do with him taking advantage of a bit of the chaos at the back. So I think Spence can come back in. I know Reguilon did well, but I think, look, Spence is going to hopefully be here long term. I don't think Reguilon is, and I think we just got to bed him in as much as possible and give him as much game time to get up to speed, because he's a long-term option here. So I think Spence will be playing again.
Yeah. Moving on to the midfield, I think Bentancur back from suspension. I think he's a nailed-on player in the midfield. Yeah,
I think we probably do a double pivot, but I think definitely Bentancur comes in. So I think he's going to play kind of in either, whether it be the 6 or the 8, but probably the 6, I would say, because he's a bit more disciplined. But I think it'll probably be a double pivot of him, and I'm guessing Basuma in a pivot in this game.
Yeah, because Sarr
no Maddison.
Yeah, Sarr can't play, Maddison can't play, but there is Bergvall. I would really like to see Bergvall play this game.
So there's 2 options. You go Bentancur, Basuma, and Decky in the middle with Brennan on the right, or you put Bergvall and Basuma with Decky on the right, or do you go with Bergvall, or do you go with Basuma? Sorry, yeah, those are the 2 options really. Or you go Bergvall, Decky, Bentancur, Bergvall, and Decky, and then Johnson on the right.
I think,
and no Basuma.
Personally, that's what I'd want to see.
Bentancur, Bergvall, Decky.
Yeah, Bentancur,
no Basuma.
Basuma did come on and looked good. But I don't know. I think Basuma's just been poor recently. I think
it's a big game.
I know it's a big game. Yeah, I know, and I think those 3 players do bring that as well.
I think I'll do Bentancur.
I think he's going to put. I think he's going to do Bentancur, Basuma in a double pivot with Decky in the middle. That's what I think he's going to do. Yeah, with Johnson on the right.
With Johnson on the right.
I think that's what he's going to do.
What I would do is I would put Bentancur, Basuma and Bergvall, put Decky on the right, and then you have that option of you can put Decky back in the centre and have Johnson as a sub and have those fresh legs. And we know he's a bit of a super sub sometimes, Brennan Johnson. Whereas if you start Johnson with Decky in the centre, then if you need to change it, like who you bring on for Johnson, I really don't like when he puts Decky on the right. I don't like it when he does it
late in games
because he just seems tired and he doesn't have the energy like he does. Like I feel like when Decky's on the right, he needs all his energy to really be getting past players and make use of that space. When he's tired, when he has space to run into, he can't exploit it because it's the end of the game and it's a lot tougher for him. So I would prefer to start Decky there, move him into the centre rather than have Decky on the centre and move him over to the right.
For me, I think it's a big shame that Maddison and Sarr are both suspended for this game because I would have started both of them. I would have started Maddison over Decky in this game because I feel like just Decky has just been not the Decky that we've known all season. I think he's been tiring massively. I think he's running on empty a little bit. And I think
he said he was suffering with illness though on the weekend.
It's true, but even in previous games to that, his energy levels hasn't been kind of what we've seen. So I do think tiredness and illness played a factor. Yeah, I just feel like Decky's running on empty a little bit at the moment. So
but he's going to have to play.
He will play for sure.
And it's a big game, Decky will probably get up for it for this game. So what do we do?
I think Bentancur, Bissouma, Decky. I think it will be.
What, with Johnson on the right?
I think so.
But did he take off Bergvall early with a view of him starting this game?
Could be, but I thought he just took off Bergvall early to bring on, fresher players really in the last half an hour because he knew that a lot of the players were just running on empty. I know Bergvall wasn't, but Bergvall's a kid, so I feel like Ange's still biding his time with him.
All right, so we're going to go Bissouma and Decky in the middle like that. And we're going to go Johnson off the right, as we've said.
So, I mean, if you ask me what I would actually like to see, I would like to see Bergvall start. And I think he actually deserves it. But that's just what I think Ange's going to do. But, yeah, I think the other two spots pretty much speak for themselves. Big Dom up top. And I want to see us float more balls into him, man. Go and pressurise that Liverpool backline and get it into Dom's head. That's we haven't been doing that enough this season. We did it a lot against Newcastle last week, right? We saw a lot of joy from it. So let's try it again.
Yeah, and need Porro whipping those balls in. And Sonny as well. We haven't seen Sonny do enough of those crosses. And obviously, yeah, Sonny on the left-hand side, fresh off the back of a new contract. Is any maybe thinking that with the contract situation put to bed now, maybe there's some sort of uncertainty not there anymore, and maybe that can lead to Sonny being a bit clearer?
Nah, I don't think it's going to make any sort of impact. I feel what will make an impact is that he had a rest in the Newcastle game, came on with half an hour to go, so he doesn't have as many minutes in his legs this week. So hopefully that will have Son fresh and firing for this game. And we all know whenever we're dangerous against Liverpool, Son is at the heart of things. He's one that can really exploit that high line. Along with Brennan Johnson, let's be real, with Brennan Johnson, if he's on form, he can really exploit it as well. So, yeah, Son needs to be at it. And he hasn't been recently.
I've got a feeling, I don't know if they'll play Conor Bradley or Trent, but I've seen when Liverpool have been exposed, it's always been down the side of Trent. That's when usually they
were against Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got a feeling he might go for Conor Bradley in this one. So either way, Sonny's going to have a big game.
Absolutely. So that is your predicted lineup. You got Kinsky in goal, making his debut in a massive game. What a debut to come into. Semi-final first leg. A right back Pedro Porro, left back Jed Spence, a back two of Radu Dragusin and Archie Gray. We got Bissouma and Bentancur in the double pivot with Decky in the 10, Johnson on the right, Sonny on the left, and Big Dom Solanke up top. So that is our predicted lineup. If you think it's right, let us know in the comment section below, or what changes would you make to this lineup going into the game? I think the only kind of serious change you can think of is Bergvall coming in. That's the only one. Apart from that, I mean, the team pretty much picks itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. The only other thing is, could Decky play on the right? I think, did he start on the right against Liverpool in the 6-3, didn't he? And then Johnson came on. So we'll see which one he does. But yeah, I mean, that means that leaves us with options off the bench of Werner, Bergvall. Who else? Not really much else, is there?
Maybe Yang Min Hyuk.
Maybe Yang Min Hyuk, maybe Mikey Moore. I'm trying to see who else might be on the bench. No one really.
Yeah, slim pickings. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. These suspensions are really
Detrimental, yeah.
detrimental for us in this game. And we just, like I said before, we
Lancashire.
have to take something. We have to take something to Anfield. Otherwise, the game's done after this game. After this game. Yeah, but that's it. That is your predicted lineup. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.